We so dodged a bullet on that, and I am so grateful. And I would love to say that that was my genius choice, but like it wasn't. That's the like long story short. I pitched that scene. That scene I'm so proud of. I love that opening scene. That was the script was already like 90%, there by what, DLJ wrote, but it didn't really have a strong opening. And so I came into the studio and I gave them that pitch and everyone really loved it. And the big question was, how are you going to do young Ed and Lorraine? And I said, without even thinking, I was like, de-aging, of course, we're going to de-age it. And then we started going through the process. And it was funny because as you go through the process, you learn like, obviously this is an evolving technology and there's been successes and misses. And we're going through it. And then Vera is the one. She saved the day. She saved the movie. She actually came to me and she said, I think you should find some actors to play this. I think you should find some actors that are in their, mid, early 20s who can play this and really capture that spirit. And it's not even just like from the technology standpoint, it's also just from the idea of, what she was saying is like, people know Patrick and Vera and they know they have families and they know them as these roles. If you're seeing a young actor, there's going to be a vulnerability there and you're not too sure how the story is going to work out. And she totally called it. I am so grateful to her. She saved the movie.
I can promise you that first scene, it's amazing. And the result with these young actors is unbelievable. It's remarkable.
Oh, thanks so much.
I love that a film explores beyond the supernatural stuff, how fear shapes who we are and affects our choices. What role do you think that fear plays in building personal identity?
A huge amount. A huge amount. I could totally go off on that. I've been reading this great book, Sapiens, and it just talks about like the development of like, human beings is like, and the idea that like we're actually these kind of apex predators, but we don't know it. We've become this so quickly that we don't have the confidence of like a lion. You look at a lion and that's like an apex predator, but we're actually, even though we are the apex predators on the planet, we haven't evolved to feel that way. And so we still have the vulnerability of being this kind of someone who's being hunted, being like a lower rung, creature. And I think that that's in our psyche. And I think honestly, it was so illuminating because it's like, there is something about us that, I think we are so driven by our fears. And I think that, so many people are driven by their fears. And it's, I think it's a great point, Eduardo.
Over the past 12 years, since the first Conjuring movie, the audience has become way more interested in true crime. Does the quote based on a real story still have the same impact on the audience that it did on the past?
I think it's a good question. It's hard to say. I think that, the series has been around for 12 years and obviously people have evolved, as they're watching it. I think that fans love that. And I think that it might mean something different, but it's almost now like with Star Wars, it's like, you couldn't, start Star Wars without, now I'm blanking on how Star Wars starts, but it's like every Conjuring movie starts with like, based on a true story. I think it's so part of your expectation with seeing these movies.